A robbery suspect is dead after a late-night robbery.
Back and shot an intruder breaking into her home.
911, what is your emergency?
A citizen, just like a police officer, have the right to defend themselves or defend others if they're in fear of death or serious bodily injury, and that right extends to using deadly force.
The old expression is, well, that would never happen to me. You're not going to have somebody come in here and pull guns on you and rob you and maybe shoot you.
The thing that disturbed me the most was looking in his eyes, and there was absolutely nothing there. It was just as blank could be.
Everything was happening really fast. I knew that I was going to have to step into the doorway, and I had no idea what I was going to see or whether I was going to get a hail of bullets or what, but I took a deep breath and I said, here we go. I was born in Macon, Georgia. I grew up in Warner Robins, Georgia. Went to University of Georgia on a football scholarship. They forgot to tell me I had to study. Ended up going to Troy State for a couple of years, playing football there. And after that, I kind of dropped out of school, did a lot of odd jobs. I went to work for my brother, who owned a jewelry store at the time. It was something that I hadn't done before, but I felt like I wanted to do, and I felt like I could be good at it.
The motto for the store is, if you can fantasize it, we can materialize it.
He amazes me that somebody will come in and he'll stand there and he'll start doodling, and then he'll show them and he'll say something like this, and they'll go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted.
That's probably one of the best things, is seeing the look on their face, the enjoyment that they get out of it, and coming back later to tell us about what had happened. We've been in business 33 years and we established relationships. I married one of my customers, and the other one has been working for me 18 years, so you know, you do make friends.
He's always been my jeweler. I'm very rough on jewelry, so he had to do a lot of repairs for me. We dated about 2 years, and then we've been married now 13 years.
I love her to death. She's the love of my life, yeah.
He has been my jeweler since the day he opened his store in 1977, yes. I started at Star Blaze before Christmas time. Carrie needed some additional help, and I was ready for a career change.
Anna's very good at what she does. She has the gift of gab. She's very good at talking to customers and getting to know them. I love what I do. We've been in business 33 years, so over that period of time you will have certain situations where you're suspicious of a customer, and sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not. But you always kind of want to stay on your toes and be alert. I think about scenarios all the time that could happen, you know. We had been in the a mall about 2 years, and there was a pharmacist that was in the mall with us, and we got to know him. And he had owned a pawn shop. And one morning he went to the pawn shop with 2 of his partners, and they were opening up. The 2 partners decided they'd go get, you know, coffee, and they took off, and they were gone for about 5 minutes. When they got back, his hands were tied, he was in a chair, and he'd been shot in the head. I decided at that time that I wasn't going to be a victim like that, so I still get emotional about that.
I think you're conscious of it all the time. Gary's been a good teacher in teaching me how to handle the situation if something does occur. I think we have a good understanding, you know, what's supposed to happen if an incident does occur.
The day that it happened, I don't remember anything out of the ordinary until the 3 guys walked in.
Boss man, you hungry?
Sure, what do you got in mind?
Maybe some Chinese. I remember I was going to go to the grocery store to get something for the store. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw 3 gentlemen getting ready to come in. And so I took my jacket off and walked over, you know, behind the counter.
We have a 2-way mirror I can see out, but they can't see me. And I was working on a customer's jewelry at the time. I saw them walk in, highly suspicious right off the bat.
I think I sort of knew I was in trouble because they all split up.
They had their heads down instead of looking up, and you would think that who in their right mind would come into a jewelry store or a bank and act like that, you know, so I was very suspicious of those guys.
Hi, could I help y'all with something?
I was getting up to go and get my gun and come out to help Anna.
At that point, I did hear the gentleman on my right cock the gun.
The day that it happened, I don't remember anything out of the ordinary. I was working on a customer's jewelry at the time. I saw them walk in.
Hi, can I help y'all with something? At that point, I did hear the gentleman on my right cock the gun.
Shut up, bitch, and give me the money.
It was very obvious to me he was nervous because he was shaking. No emotion, no expression, anything. In that moment, I was praying really hard that Gary realized what was going on.
For a split second, I thought that they had fired at me.
There was no way I could move without startling anybody, so since nothing happened, he gave me the second nod.
And the next second, I pulled the trigger when I saw the guy's leg coming in the back for me. The door just exploded open with the three of them bursting out of the doorway, and they all hit the ground outside and scrambled to get up.
And then it just got really quiet, and you have that surreal, strange feeling.
The ears are ringing. You see this gunpowder floating around in the air. Smell the smell of the gunpowder. You're just kind of suspended right there in that moment.
Are they still in here? Is somebody still in here and not hearing anything? Gary, are you okay?
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah.
But then we all of a sudden kind of woke up there.
I never saw a vehicle, so I didn't know if they'd really left or if they were just in a different part of the parking lot.
We had a customer coming up.
Gary, what is going on?
Eva owns a coffee shop right down the street. She was almost up on the sidewalk and she hears a gunshot. She's so close, she's probably only about 6 or 7 feet from them. And she says, stop. They don't stop, they get up and take off. But then my attention kind of went to Anna and if she was okay. The first thing I did was I pushed the alarm button and then Anna called the police.
The 911 operator let me know they had already gotten the call and somebody had been dispatched. My heart was racing, but I think it was more in relief. Relief that they were gone, counting blessings that apparently we were all okay. You know, that was the biggest thing.
To know that we were both okay, that was a big feeling of relief.
He calls me, and I could tell by his voice something was wrong. And he said, we've just been robbed. And I think I've just shot somebody. And I was like, you know, this air kind of goes out of your sails, and you're like, what?
Is everybody okay? Does anybody need any medical attention?
The first officer that arrived pretty much got on the radio as fast as he could and was telling everybody what went on, what they were supposed to be looking for. A lady had seen the getaway car, so they were trying to get that out to everybody. Soon the whole store was full of policemen and detectives, and it was a good feeling to see them. One of them got a cell phone call, and they said they had a shooting victim at Grady. And when they came back, they said that it was him. That at first he said that he had been robbed and shot, but his story just didn't make sense. And eventually he admitted that he was robbing a jewelry store when he was shot. The gun that they found in the parking lot was not the same gun that they put in Anna's face, so they at least had 2 guns. And then the guy with a hammer, which they also found in the parking lot. And also, they had dropped a cell phone also on the ground while they were leaving out of the doorway.
I just kept waiting, and it just seemed like it was an eternity before he got home.
I think we hugged for a long time. It was very nice to get those arms around you that you felt like, you know, really cared about you. Very nice to be with her again.
The hug was nice. It was very nice to hug Gary and to see him.
It was good to be home. I got a good hug when I got home. I think my husband was very grateful to Gary.
The outcome for him, it nicked his femoral artery. The 2 guys that he robbed the store with pushed him out of the car downtown Atlanta. A lady happened to see them doing that and called 911, so they rushed him to Grady just in time to save his life. I don't think anybody ever wants to shoot somebody, but people were very supportive as far as, you know, doing that. He got 8 years to serve 12 days already served because he spent those 12 days in the hospital. He had to pay restitution, and he paid that through the court system. The 2 guys that were with him, they took the car and burned it in South Atlanta, so they couldn't get fingerprints or anything off the car. He said he only knew them by their street names, and so to this day they've never been caught. I don't really worry about them, no. I think predators always look for the weakest victims. I don't think they'll ever be back here.
I think we all get where you get comfortable with things and maybe you're not as alert as you can be. So it definitely took that up 4 or 5 notches.
I think owning a gun gives you a certain responsibility. I feel it's your right to protect yourself and protect others. You never know how things are going to turn out, so you really have to do what you have to do.
There was no way to know what their real intent was. The gentleman with the gun in my face could have fired it at any time. I'll always owe him my life.
We could be dead today. I mean, you never know. I think we're very fortunate.